usually I always edit the audio of these videos. I have to do multiple takes because I'm just generally shit at talking. I stutter a lot. I'm not good at a script. But I decided to go off script for this video. And, and the reason is I just want to, well, I think the main reason is that I tried playing through this game. I was a bit shit at it. It was the first time you're using an emulator for this game. I was just crap at it. But right now I'm just going to tell you a story about, what it was like to grow up in a household where the only video game entertainment systems were about 10 years behind everyone else. So here we go. Is it still recording? Good. Ah, lovely. Okay, so I was given so my family used to go to church, like most families who decided that, the old Jesus teaching is the best way to keep those kids calmed down. I was a rad bag as a kid. I was ADHD ridden, always got in trouble. so I guess Mum tried the whole Jesus thing. It didn't work for long, but we did meet someone who gave us a Super Nintendo and a Sega Mega Drive for free. This was back in that 2003, 4, I think. I'm gonna say 2003 because I was about old. Yeah, it's this bouncy thing. I used to be able to do that so perfectly as a kid. And the first video game I ever played was this one right here, Donkey Kong Country. When I was first introduced to this was first described to me as, like a video, but you can move things in a video or something like that. The other game was given to me was Super Mario All Stars, which is also a fantastic game. 2 bangers for the Super Nintendo. And for the Sega Mega Drive, I was only given one game. It was something like Michael Jordan versus Larry Bird 1-on-1. It was a basketball game made by EA. And you can only control 2 players, Michael Jordan or Larry Bird. For the Mega Drive, like your 8-bit / 16-bit days. That was actually alright, because controlling a whole basketball field with such primitive technology was so bloody difficult, and the game wasn't very good. I didn't play it that much. I played this one in particular, and the only reason I played in particular is because it looked nicer, and I could explore stuff more. See here? And boop. Yep. I also discovered this, the game is just so fucking pretty, as you can see. This game was released around 1993. And yeah, and for some strange reason, because I was a kid who grew up in fucking nowhere, the environments in Donkey Kong Country kind of reminded me of the environments I'd see outside, especially during sunset, like you can see here, and palm trees. I know I live in Australia. There's no palm trees here, but my backyard actually had a palm tree in it for some strange reason. I was like, oh hey, this game's a palm tree, so is my backyard. That's cool. Yeah, I tried my hardest to get all the 3 ostrich statues. It gives you one, and if you collect 3 of them, it takes you to a bonus game. I was trying my hardest here, but I failed it so hard. Oh, here, I think I distinctly remember me trying to see if there was like some kind of bonus area down that pit as well, and then I realised that no, there definitely is not. Okay, I think here's me like finally learning how to ground pound. It was an emulator for the first time, where it has like ZX, A and B on the keyboard. But for the Super Nintendo, it's in an awkward position where you use A to run and Z to jump, I think, or is it the other way around? Otherwise, I had to like my fingers in a weird position. Oh yeah, there's another thing about this level. If you complete it and go back, it does it through night time. I used to escape a lot as a kid. Escape the house and just walk around the neighborhood at night. It reminded me of that. but I can do it safely where no one could yell at me. Yeah, I missed a balloon here. Okay, so that was a mistake. I did not mean to do this. I had absolutely no idea what this was. As a kid, I wasn't given the instruction manual. There's no like cutscene, but whatever. It's just something you go inside and then it's done. And then you go back. I don't have to spend like 5 minutes for a whole bloody cutscene. Oh yeah. For the longest time, I could not figure out how to get into those trees. You have to jump on like one specific Kremling, whichever enemies in this game to get to that, and that was a mistake. Again, I was trying to figure out the whole emulator controls. Also, the whole area out there sort of looks like the upper class neighborhood part of my neighborhood. It was all very pretty, all very well kept, all very sunny when it was sunny outside. I did not live in that area. Am I going to go in again? Nope. I actually love Donkey Kong Country so much. As a kid, I would write stories about it. Mostly just the full animal characters here, like on Guardian's name is. It's fucking ostrich. Oh, we get to see a bonus game here. This is just one of those, fly through the areas again, still getting used to the controls. Now, as a kid, I never really got. This was like the only time I could use on Guardi, but a little ostrich because I never got that far into the game because I was too busy just wasting time searching for bonus secrets and jumping around and falling off the edge. I think it's like, for every 100 little statue things you collect, you get a life. If you get 200, you get 2 lives, something like that. Now up here, I think if you touch something, it gives you 10 times the little statues. I know there's a way to do it. I couldn't figure out, so I'm just going to get 3 lives here. You know what? It gives me 12. That's plenty. That's plenty. I don't think I'm going to fall off the edge 12 times, so. Now, do I go backwards here? Yes, I do. Hey, I try to go up here. Here's like a bonus area here. Yeah, I gave up. And, hey, hooray. Oh, this looks so nice. Very pretty graphics. Now, I think with this, I remember getting stuck on this one. The rain effects look so cool when I was a kid, but it's literally just a rain overlay. There's really nothing to it. Oh yeah, it also introduces the TNT barrels. There really isn't much difference between this and regular barrels. I think later in the game, there's more of a difference, but here it's just blah blah blah. You can only get up here with Diddy Kong. I tried doing that so many times as a kid and got nowhere. Now do the caves remind me of anything around my childhood home and neighborhood? No, they don't. I just thought they looked cool. Although one thing in my little area of South Australia is, during summer and winter, it rains a lot. And there are a lot of thunderstorms. Hell, there's actually a thunderstorm here recently. I was like, it's so cool. This sort of green is a green you'd see a lot in Australia. This game gave me a reason to actually sort of appreciate the neighborhood, really. Because this game, in my mind, a game that people would actually go out of their way to make and design sort of look like an area in my neighborhood, Yeah, okay. I think I remember there's some kind of bonus part. I was like, isn't there some kind of barrel drop down? The answer is yes, but it's not there. I think the little steps confuse me. Yeah, down there where the armadillo rolled. That's what a barrel is, but I didn't notice at the time. I guess so. The other game the other game I got for Super Nintendo for free was Super Mario All Stars. You know, this game, Super Mario All Stars, couldn't recommend two better ones, honestly. Super Mario All Stars was basically all the old Mario games, all the original ones, Super Mario Brothers 1, yes, even 2 and 3, and also all the lost levels, but instead of 8-bit, they were redesigned and pre-dubbed to be 16-bit, which means, you know, you get more colors, and that's pretty much all the difference is as far as graphic bits go. Just more colors, more detail you can put in to each individual little section, I guess. I have to research this video a bit more. so the other one was a Super Mario Brothers All Stars, yeah, and that game was so bloody difficult. I never got past, like, you know, World 5 of the original Super Mario Brothers. Super Mario Brothers 3, again, same thing. Couldn't really get past the third world. And Super Mario Brothers 2, don't even get me started on that shit. If I remember correctly, Super Mario Brothers 2 was just a reskin of Doki Doki Panic, or something that it was a reskin of a platform that was only sold in Japan. But because Super Mario Brothers sold so well in America, they just quickly had to release a second one to cash in, because this was made short. Because original Super Mario Brothers was made shortly after the whole video game industry just crashed. Yeah, I tried there. The only way to do that is to hop in a barrel backwards. God, why am I getting stuck on this stupid level? Okay. Yeah, so basically, you know, after Super Mario Brothers for the NES sold so many copies, Nintendo just, Nintendo weren't that wealthy before, and now they had a whole bunch of money, and they just needed to cash in on that Mario Brothers money, sorta. And they just took an old platformer and reskinned it. This had nothing to do with Mario, because jumping on the enemies doesn't actually do anything. The only way to defeat enemies is to jump on them, pick them up, and then throw them. I don't think I got past, you know, the first level of that stupid thing. And the lost levels, just forget it. I think the point of the lost levels was just, you know, they're not really scrap levels. I don't think it was just, you know, levels made much harder. Sort of like Super Mario Maker, those insanely difficult levels. But I actually found it more fun because it was just so damn challenging. Super Mario Bros. 3. I didn't get into that until later. But I definitely enjoyed it because, you know, because I think it was the first one that had like an overworld, which means you can go back and forth between levels, kind of like Donkey Kong Country, and there's more to explore, more bonus stuff. It's hard as hell, and honestly, yeah, it's technically speaking, you know, the Mario Brothers games, aside from the second one, are better than this. This just looks so pretty, doesn't it? Donkey Kong Country had a great eye for color. But, you know, okay, but what was it like growing up with technology that was, you know, 10 years behind when everyone had the latest PlayStations and that? You know, but yeah, like everyone was playing, the PlayStations were for cool kids, and back then Nintendo didn't include any blood, any swearing, any any gangsters. It didn't include any CJ. So Nintendo games, amongst the kids back when I was back when I was a kid, those were for kids, for immature little babies, which is why I learned to just not talk about games. And for some strange reason, I tried to lie about having GTA, even though I had like no access to the internet then. And I was just blown away by what I was hearing. It was like you can shoot people, you can be a gangster, you can drive around LA. Okay, it's Los Santos, but whatever. You can drive around wherever. LA, that's so fucking cool. I can't do that. So I tried to lie, and I was caught. I was caught in the lie. That was embarrassing. Yeah, yeah, and that I think was the start of my angry kid phase. I was no longer spastic. I was just angry. I was just angry as fuck, and didn't attend class that much. But for some strange reason, I still just went back to. But even after being ridiculed for lying about not having GTA, Gran Turismo, those sorts of games, and having to stick with these little baby games like Donkey Kong Country. Yeah, back then having an old Nintendo game, that was super uncool. But the games still look pretty. They were still pretty, but still pretty difficult, especially the Mario games. So I just I just played them in secret. I assume everyone just forgot about it, but I never. But let me tell you, I never did. You don't install Donkey Kong Country like that. you know, and also one more great thing about Donkey Kong Country is I think it's like the only games like even fucking Mario included that gets underwater levels right because swimming in the ocean by yourself is supposed to be calm, it's supposed to be relaxing. I probably on I'm honestly afraid of copyright for some strange reason, but I think Donkey Kong Country is actually all right. Nintendo doesn't really bother with it, even though they own the IP to Donkey Kong Country. Even though this game was made in the UK, they I still think they own the rights to Donkey Kong Country, but I'll just but as you can see, the music is relaxing. This little blue-green scheme. This is this level is one of the main reasons why I use blue and green as my channel colors because they're so cool. Blue, a dark blue and a light green is so underrated, and I think that's pretty much the end of the video. Oh, it's also super weird to have like to see retro gamers being sold for so much because we could get games for like 10 or $20. Oh, that's the end of the video. Well, okay, never mind. I'll just finish wrapping up about where video games are now. How much does Donkey Kong Country sell for again? I think Reaper's gonna quit on me if I do something like this. Hang a second. Okay, I'm back now. A single cartridge, the cheapest price I can find on eBay, $60, 60 US bucks. Back then, I could get them for about $10. SNES games were about $10 because no one was buying them. Everyone was up with the latest graphics. But I think people started to realize that, as games became more complex, as they became more glitchy, as they started having unskippable cutscenes, that retro games were just simple plug and play. They were quite nice, and they were also the older games became more difficult because there's more people getting into gaming. They had to make games a bit easier, and I think another reason is the rise of indie gaming. When people started being able to have laptops that had more than 30 megabyte storage, they could store more stuff, store more code, store more art, and they can make games. And the easiest games to make by far other retro 2D games because it takes a shit ton of time to render 3D graphics, a shit ton of processing power, and also with adding the third dimension into video games, you're not just scrolling left and right. You have to scroll in every single cardinal direction that is possible on this earth, just by adding a Z axis, and that's it. Suddenly, my childhood is cool again. I got some other games down the line. I'm definitely not selling Donkey Kong Country. I'm not selling Super Mario All Stars. Those are bloody close to me. And you're not bloody having it. You can, however, have my copy of Hurricanes for the SNES. That game was bullshit. Take it away for a total price of $120. Why the fuck did I get that game? The guy selling the game told me the game was shit. But I was like, soccer might be fun. I'd heard of like Pro Evolution Soccer, which was made by Konami when Konami were actually good and didn't just sink all their money into gambling machines. Oh, and for the record, I'm in my mid-20s now. Most people who grew up with the SNES are in their mid-30s now.